Okay, so this weekend, well, yesterday, I ran my first half marathon in Segovia, Spain. And I wanted to blog about it, but I didn't want to type it out because I think it is so cool. I just want to talk about it. So, yesterday, Segovia, Spain, ran 13.1 miles, or if we use the metric system like they do in the rest of the world, 21 point something kilometers. And it was the coolest experience of my life. First of all, it's my first half marathon. With a bit of a personal background, I started running last summer, and at the end of the last summer, my goal was just to run a 5K. Before that, I could barely run a mile. Now, fast forward a little less than a year, and here I am completing a half marathon. So I think that is the coolest thing ever, and I've really learned that if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And yesterday was proof of that. So yesterday, well, first of all, here's my medal, here's proof I did it, and I got this gnarly fluorescent orange shirt. And I just want to tell you that this race cost me, I think, 20 euros. And that, I got the shirt with it and the medal, and there's some, free goodies. And so, awesome marathon, or half marathon. Also a great way to see the city. Someone asked me, what did I see in Segovia? I mean, Segovia is not big. I literally ran around it, through it, around the Alcazar, around the huge cathedral. I mean, in more of the outside-ish part where you don't really see that if you're a tourist. So that was amazing. But I just wanted to highlight some of my thoughts and some of my opinions of this race. So I'm just going to kind of start from the beginning. So we get there. We're early, of course. There's people in uniform with drums, so that was boom, boom, pumping you up. It was awesome. And then, fast forward the next hour and a half, we're getting ready to start the race. A cannon goes off, that's cool, and the race begins. And the first two, I'm going to tell you it into kilometers because everything was marked out in kilometers because, duh, they use the metric system. So the first 2 kilometers is a slight incline, but it's a straightaway. And after 2 kilometers, I was like, what have I done? I have 19 more kilometers, and I feel like crap. And another funny note, I remember at 2 kilometers, I was running in between 2, military groups, and they were both chanting, and it was really cool, really high energy, but for some reason, at 2 kilometers, they all had to, use the bathroom, all the men, so they, just run off the course, pee, and get back on course. That was interesting. We keep running, and it was the coolest thing about this race was that people from Segovia, people who lived there, people whose family were running, they would line the streets and they'd cheer for you. And in the U.S. you have people that cheer you on, but they literally just stand there with a clapper or a cowbell, and they're like, "Woo, let's go!" Woo. No, here it was "Vamos, venga, vamos!" And I had they call it a dorsal here, but it's just your bib. And mine had my nickname Frenchie on it. So you'd hear, "Vamos, Frenchie, venga, venga, vamos." And it was the most inspirational thing ever because it is what I needed to get through that race. So anyway, we get to 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers. Then we hit 7 kilometers. And I remember this point because all of a sudden there's this steep uphill climb. And for all of you who know what the Eau Claire Hill is like, it's about that incline, but not that long. But after 7 kilometers, which is maybe 5 miles, uphill is the last thing you want to do. So I was like, this is ridiculous. But I got up that, and then we're going through this cool park area, and all of a sudden we hit this sandy part. Why is there sand on this half marathon? It was terrible. You can't run through it. You don't want to walk through it because you just want to get through it faster. So not a fan of the sand. We keep going, and we hit the halfway point, about a little past 10 kilometers. The half point, worst feeling and best feeling all at once. Best being, wow, you just finished half your race. Worst, wow, you still have half your race to go. And then a little past that, I saw we had people come who were in a program just to cheer us on, which was the most amazing thing. I would not have done it without them. And they were what I needed to see because at the halfway point, there's a little bit more of an incline, which is really unmotivating. And we saw them cheering me on, and that got me through it. And I mean, we kept going, or I kept running. I was running on my own, and I kind of fell towards the back. This race, I don't know. In the U.S., you have a bunch of half marathons where people who aren't normally runners run it. No, not this. You are a good runner if you're running in these half marathons. So I mean, I was way towards the back, and another thing about this race was it was raining, and wet cobblestone's not fun to run on. What else? One of my really cool moments was I hit a point. I didn't run this whole race because, I mean, this is my first half marathon. I didn't even get to train properly. I mean, I trained, but not properly. Longest distance I'd run was 10 miles, 10.25 to be exact. But this one woman, she was a military member. She was dressed in uniform, and she was cheering from the sideline. And she saw me walking, and she looks directly at me, and she goes, "Vamos, venga!" And all of a sudden I start running, and she like winks at me, and it's kind of like a mutual like silence, good job, like proud of you kind of thing. So that was cool. And one thing that was crazy about yesterday was it was so weird how you would get these like bursts of energy. Like it was almost like being bipolar. I don't know what being bipolar is like. So this is a horrible example, but like you go from being extremely depressed and like, wow, I still have so much to run, to being like, I can do this, like, here I go, I can do this. So that was kind of a cool experience about running. And there was a point where we got to the El Alcazar in Segovia, which is this beautiful, I'm going to call it a castle, it's more like a fortress. And all of a sudden the sun came out, and I still probably had 3.5 miles to go, and it was kind of like my ray of hope, like, the end is in sight, it's near. And so the sun coming out for a moment was definitely nice. The rain was refreshing, but I think what really got me through this race yesterday was the sincerity of the people cheering me on. And not even people I knew, complete strangers. And it was the most heartwarming, cool thing ever. Just like they see you struggling, and they literally tell you, "Vamos, venga." And I mean, I was one of the, if I look at my results, I think I'm one of the last like 40 people to come in. And so people had already finished the race. And even those people who had finished would stop and cheer me on, like, "Vamos, venga." Vamos, let's go, and venga, two of the most commonly heard words yesterday. But it meant so much. I can't even put into words how cool it was. And it was an overall great experience. I will never forget it. It'll probably be one of my favorite memories from this trip. I did it with 8 other Americans from this program, and I love them dearly, and it was such a fun activity. And I am so excited to say I finished my first half marathon. If we wanted to get official here, I think if I look at my results online, which I have in front of me, where's my name? I came in like 2,500. Here, wait. I can tell you exactly. Catherine French, 2,595th person to cross that finish line. But if you look at my category, I was 85th. So that just tells me how few women ran and how many men run. In Spain, not really a women's sport. I mean, it is. Women run, but not as many in the U.S. So, I'm just proud to have finished, and it was a great experience, and I want to tell you all about it. Again, here's the proof right here. Half marathon, Segovia. Woo, highlights. So there you have it, folks. I finished my first half marathon, and I'm feeling it today. Stairs suck. Can't touch my toes. My legs, every part of my leg hurts. So there you go. Half marathons are fun. Woo! You should all do one. Or try one. Or just run. It's cool. You can really push yourself to do anything you want. Alright. That's all.